Well, a warm welcome to Hawkeye Nation and Fever Nation, and maybe some Connecticut Sun fans as well. My name is Corey, here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. If you are a WNBA fan and you're here to get some commentary following the season opening win for your Sun or the season opening loss for the Fever, you're in the right place. This is a Hawkeye platform by nature, but we have a women's basketball legend and a former WNBA player with us this evening. The one and only Kachine Alexander is with us. Before we get to this game, and we're going to talk about Caitlin Clark and everything from this evening, Kachine, thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time. I know some people maybe didn't tune in yesterday when we went live, kind of an impromptu live following the big news here in Hawkeyeville. But for people that don't know you, or maybe that just don't know this about you, you did have, I like to use the expression, you had a cup of coffee in the WNBA. Tell us about your experience with Minnesota and just what the WNBA is all about to you.
I've always been a fan of the WNBA. It's always been a dream. I'm not gonna say everybody, but most players, that is their dream, is to play on into that next level. Obviously, when I played, it was way different than what we're seeing now, which is the exciting part, I think, for most people that have played and retired and all that other stuff, is because we're seeing so many of the things that we wanted to see, which is why it's the excitement surrounding it. I mean, I'm just excited because now I think about my daughter. I was talking to somebody today, funny enough. They were asking me how I feel about the WNBA and all the notoriety it's getting and all that stuff. And I really just said, it just makes me happy because if my daughter decides to play, I know that she is going to have a much better experience, a much better outlook in the WNBA. She's going to have players to look up to. She's going to see them on her TV screen, social media. She's going to see it everywhere. And representation matters no matter what it is. I know when people think about representation, they think about color, but it really also is sports related too, because if I see, an Angel Reese, if I see a Caitlin Clark, if I see those people on my TV screen, you want to be like them. You see all the kids with the signs wanting to be Caitlin Clark. Like, it is a real thing with representation. So I'm just really happy. I'm just happy. Even today, I was just smiling watching the TV, just because the WNBA has such an amazing platform and it's finally getting the notoriety, and the little girls are having someone to look up to finally.
So let's talk a little bit. We're going to talk about this game as a whole, and I'm going to really rely on you more than ever, Kachine, because this is a sport and a league, as you mentioned at the outset, that you've kind of lived and breathed. I'll admit it's not a sport that I grew up watching, and I am like a lot of people who my attention was captivated with Caitlin Clark's emergence, and I'm not going to run away from that. But her team struggled this evening. This is a good Connecticut Sun team that went out there at the Mohegan Sun Arena and won by 21. The score is a little bit deceiving. It was closer than that throughout. When you look at Caitlin Clark's numbers, some interesting stats here. 20 points, 5 of 15 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3. She was perfect from the free throw line. She made 6. And then we're going to get to those last 3 numbers because I have some big questions for you. But as it relates to her shooting numbers, not terrible. Could be better for an official debut in the WNBA. Is that a fair assessment, Kachine?
Is what a fair assessment? She had a good. What are you saying?
Like the shooting numbers, 5 of 15, 4 of 11, not great, but could be worse.
No, not great. I mean, she's still a rookie, but I think that there's so much pressure on her that if we were having this conversation last year, we would be like, oh my God, she's doing so well. She's this, she's that. But it's Caitlin Clark at the end of the day. So people are expecting her to come in and have a humongous impact, MVP runner, that kind of thing. That's what people are talking about. So it's a little bit different for her than I would say any other rookie.
Does she have a chance to be the MVP her rookie year? Is that actually feasible? Do you actually buy into the idea that she's even got a relative shot at that? I don't either, but I'm no expert on the WNBA. So let's look at those last 3 numbers, because this is the official game. The 2 preseason games really mean nothing. Now they mean something. I
No, they
think
don't mean anything.
they mean more to rookies, right? Just to kind of get your feet wet.
Sure.
But 3 assists, 10 turnovers. I mentioned on a podcast released a couple of days ago, if you're going to take anything away from those 2 preseason games featuring Caitlin Clark, it's that her assist to turnover ratio numbers were horrid. And tonight, if you want to be cynical, they got worse. 10 turnovers to 3 assists. Besides just falling back on she's a rookie, Kachine, you're a former point guard yourself. Besides just going back to she's a rookie, all right? Is the game, like, how much of a curve are we going to see here as it relates to the game? Even though, like, we didn't see a real up-tempo game, especially when you're an Iowa fan, you're used to watching the Hawkeyes run and gun. But you've got better athletes, quicker decision-making, quicker reflexes. Is that what we're seeing, and how long does it take for that learning curve to transpire, do you think?
Well, I think there's a couple things. Her coaching style is different with Lisa Luda versus Indiana's coach. She has said it in the press conference that, she wants Caitlin to make a decision within 5 seconds. I think that's something that Caitlin should strive for because it does make you harder to guard. But right now, that is a tough curve for her. If you're a Hawkeye fan, if you've been watching Caitlin, she's had the ball in her hands for a long time. As far as in the offense. And so having to make a decision that quick takes time. It just is. It's a quicker defender. The gaps close faster. They're smarter. There's a lot more that comes into play there than just talent, quote unquote. There's going to be a learning curve. I said that way back. There's a learning curve. I don't think hers is going to be a long learning curve by all means. I don't think it's going to be long, but it's still a learning curve. These are bigger, stronger, faster players. This is what it is. And like I said, I have all the confidence in the world that she'll turn it around. But am I surprised by her numbers? No, because we've talked many times during the Iowa season, that Caitlin had a lot of lackadaisical passes, like where she was just careless with the ball. Well, in college, you can potentially get away with that because the competition's not the same. But they're going to take advantage of every time you're lackadaisical with the ball. You have to be on point the whole game. You cannot be lackadaisical with the ball, or it's picked and it's gone, or, a tip pass or something of that sort, which is kind of what we saw today. And, kudos to Carrington. She did very well on defense, which is what she's known for. But yeah.
And this is a Sun team that is known to be a good defensive team, and their experience, certainly. You have a little bit more time with a season opening game. I, again, can't say that I know exactly what WNBA preparation is like, but in a season opening game with all the hype around Caitlin Clark, you understand there's going to be that facet of things. I guess the only thing I would say, Kachine, you may say I'm totally berserk, is that I'm a little surprised. You talk about her not being able to get away with some of the things she got away with in college. I guess the only surprise I would have is that she's trying to get away with those things this early. I understand, like, that's her game.
It's a habit. It's a habit. She's gained that habit. Now, it's not easy to just turn it off. That's just how she's been playing for how many years? I would probably going back to high school. Let's be honest here. So that's not an easy habit to break. But like I said, I'm not surprised. And let's call it what it is, guys. People are gunning for her. This isn't. They have a bone to pick. I'm gonna be honest. If I was in the WNBA right now and I'm playing Caitlin Clark, it's starred on the schedule. Okay, because not because they hate her. I'm not saying that, but I hope this isn't gonna come out wrong. But people don't know these players. How many people watched today and knew who Alyssa Thomas was? I mean, I did, but how many people knew? Okay, well, you learned today. You learned what she was capable of doing.
I didn't know who Bonner was until I started
doing some research in this game. That's my point. Like, when you play Caitlin Clark, the eyes are on you. That is like blood in the water per se. You know what I mean? So now it's I'm gonna show who I am. Let me introduce myself, reintroduce myself to the new fans. So like, it's nothing against Caitlin. It's just the simple fact of they know people watching. So okay, let me show them who I am, because now everybody knows Alyssa Thomas. Everybody was watching DeWanna Bonner. She was now 5th in scoring in the league. Like, you start to realize who these players are that you probably never heard of before, and start to see that the WNBA is very good across the board. Sucks for Caitlin right now, but it's reality. And like I said, she'll be fine. I don't have any worries about Caitlin. I don't. I just know that there's a curve. I think everybody does that has played. So, yeah.
We have got a phone line open this evening, folks. So we've got a number of people waiting to talk with Kachine. And so far, I see mostly all Hawkeye fans, people that I recognize, and that's great. I love that the Hawkeye fans are here. But if you're a WNBA fan or a Fever fan or a Sun fan, please feel free to call in, because this is a special show. We're not going to be doing these post-game shows after every Fever game, but it's not just about Caitlin Clark. I'm curious, Kachine, before we get to our first caller, what percentage of the players on these two rosters do you know? Like, not saying personally, but do you know of? Do you know all of them?
I know all. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I'm trying to
all
think.
Right. I guess.
Yeah, I would probably say like 80%. There might be a couple names where I'm like, oh, that one, but yeah.
That's pretty much like, and I can't speak for other Iowa men's basketball fans or traditionally. I know a lot of people don't like the NBA anymore for other reasons. I am still an NBA guy. If you had to, if you place the Clippers roster and the Mavs roster, I'm a Mavs fan, so that's not fair. Clippers and Magic in front of me, I'd be able to tell you where most of those guys went to college, and I would recognize all of them. So that's kind of where we're at here. I think a lot of Iowa fans are going to be in a similar position, that learning curve of just getting to know all these players. And I think to your point, Kachine, it's not like, okay, this Caitlin Clark era and what she's going to bring to the game is just going to be an immediate flip of the switch. Obviously, the league and attention around the league has already taken a bump because of it.
Yeah.
But it should only continue along that linear way up, if that makes sense. So
yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, a lot of people are watching for the first time. I love it.
Absolutely. Let's go to our first caller of the day. Thank you for calling Iowa Postgame. Well, we'll call it Fever Postgame with Kachine Alexander, who's in the line.
WNBA Postgame. Just roll with that.
This is Jacob. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Jacob. How are you?
Not too bad, thank you. Not too bad at all. Just first, if I had to pick a roster, I'd probably pick OKC's roster, but
oh my goodness,
in the NBA right now. But one thing.
Why were you the one that happened to? Why were you the one that happened to be on the phone line? Can I ask that question? I did not know that you were the person on the phone line.
Well, two things is the people on the phone, were they supposed to be on hold the whole time? Or the reason I say that is because I could hear you talking and I almost was going to say something. And I was like, oh, I wonder.
Normally I put you on hold, but I trusted you to not speak. That's my fault.
I didn't. I waited till you said something.
Good job.
I did exactly.
You've earned yourself a Fever sticker. So good job.
What I would say about the game is, yes, there's no getting around it. Unbelievably sloppy, but it was weird that Indiana, as a team, lacked energy. They looked like they were really. I don't know what, I couldn't put my finger on it. There wasn't a lot of movement, especially on the offensive end. It was really slow. Nobody's really coming off screens, barely any pick and roll. And I couldn't figure out, I was wanting to know if either you knew, is why was there such a just not much energy for Indiana?
It's
a good question for Kachine. Is that a result of style of play, or is...
No, I mean, we ask that question all the time. To any, as a coach, you don't really have the answer. I agree with you. I think they did come out kind of lackadaisical, kind of just like, oh, here we go. Or maybe it was nerves. I'm not sure what it was. but it was definitely a lack thereof. But yeah, I think every coach probably would ask that question. The Timberwolves just had that the other day. It's like, what you doing? Like, what makes you feel like you ain't want to come to play today? So I don't have the answer for you. I don't think anybody does, honestly. But you're correct in your assessment.
It's not trying to make an excuse for how the game went at all. It's extremely hard to get in a rhythm if you don't have much energy. If you're kind of going through the motions, it's going to be a rough night from the start, and it was on both ends. Yes, turnovers lead to easier shots, transition shots, faster. You can get in your offense a little bit quicker, your Connecticut's end. But even on the defensive end, it was kind of like, whoa, what is the deal here? Both ends of the court not really getting up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And Indiana as a team, especially in that second half, nobody was looking to shoot. Like a lot of times, a team's down by 15, 16. If there's going to be a player or two who's going like, all right, I'm going to either shoot us in this or shoot us out of this. But nobody was even doing that either. And it was just so weird to see that.
If I might interrupt just for a second, Jacob. Kachine, what did you think of Aaliyah Boston? Because just 6 shot attempts on the night. She was 2 of 6, just 4 points.
I mean, she's been struggling this season. Here's the thing you got to think about. First of all, I understand Hawkeye fans. I get it. But you also have to understand that you guys are coming from March Madness and watching a team that not only has been together and played together for years, but you're also watching a Hawkeye team that has played for nonstop, yearly. They are a team that is cohesive. They are a team that understands their roles. They are a team that was constructed to fit what Lisa Bluter wants. WNBA is not like that majority of the time. Now, these girls have had 2 weeks, 14 days together to practice. Some of them have been injured. They didn't practice the whole 14 days. Some of them were coming back from the overseas, etc. They have not gelled yet, especially when you're talking about a new team. Las Vegas Aces have played together for a while. Their core cohesive team have been together for 3-4 years. They're different. It's a veteran team. Same thing with Connecticut. Their core pieces have been together for a few years. Indiana's best players are a sophomore and a rookie. It's going to take them a minute to find it, not only just find their identity, but it's also going to take them a minute, and Caitlin, to feel comfortable. Because at the end of the day, she doesn't want to do too much. She doesn't want to go crazy because she doesn't really know where she is in that. You know what I mean? Because, yeah, she's supposed to be the star, but it is the WNBA. You ain't going to just be jacking up half-court shots. It's not happening. So she's still trying to find her way. The team is still trying to find their way and their identity. The Iowa Hawkeyes already have an identity. That's just built in. So you've got to give them time to figure that out. Again, they're playing for 14 days. That's the first time you see Iowa play a game, they've been playing for months. So just trust me.
I understand what Pat's saying with this comment on the screen. Her teammates aren't even close to what her teammates were at Iowa. No, they're much better. They're infinitely better.
Very true. The only difference is that they played together more.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's just I don't want to say it's a totally different game, but you brought up the coaching and stylistically what they're asking Caitlin to do, in addition to it being she's having to acclimate herself to all these new people.
Yes.
They're having to acclimate themselves to her.
So,
yep. Anything else, Jacob?
Not really. I would like to, maybe it kind of needs to be said a little bit, is I don't know if Indiana was, they had lack of energy, not much movement on both ends of the court. But is it possible they weren't and I know there's only been a few weeks and they haven't been together for that long, but were they prepared enough? Because
Prepared enough for their opponent?
I'm not even meaning the opponent. I'm just meaning prepared, just ready to play. And I mean that more from the coaching end. Like, were they really ready to play? Because there's one thing to be, because you can have energy but have turnovers. But
Sure.
turnovers, no energy on both ends of the court. It's like, okay, whoa. Was it a good game plan? Did people buy into the game plan? Did people understand the game plan?
I don't think it's that deep, honestly. I think it's
okay.
Indiana Fever were the worst team in the WNBA last year. Okay. They went from nobody caring about them to being the hottest thing on the ticket overnight. So I don't think it's like the Indiana Fever coaches have been coaching a very long time. Lynn Dunn, who is general manager of the Indiana Fever, has been around basketball. I can't even tell you. She's coached college. She's coached assistant-wise. She's coached head coaching. She's been in the WNBA coaching. She's been everywhere. Lynn Dunn's mind is crazy. That's just what it is. I don't think the coaches didn't have them prepared. I honestly, truly believe that you go from not having any spotlight at all, nobody really caring about you, to being in the spotlight has a mental effect on you. I don't care. It just is. you have a mental effect. And so I think that mixed with nerves, mixed with being on the road for your first game and not really knowing what you're getting into, because again, majority of your team is a mixture of newbies, people that's only been in the league 2 years. Like, you don't really have, again, I get it that some people are veterans, but they're also not your best players. They're not trying to, they're not going to take over the game, should I say. Even Smith, what is her third year? Like, their whole core is very young. And then Mitchell's been injured the whole preseason. This is her first time playing. So it's like, I get your sentiment of like why, or if they were prepared or not. I don't think it's that. I truly think it was on the team. And it's hard to say, being a coach, I get that coaches always take responsibility, but there is a point where your players, you could give them a scouting report, you could talk about it, you could do everything, and somehow they're still letting the shooter shoot 5 for 5. Like, ain't nothing else I could do. I didn't gave you the tools. You have to apply it. So I wouldn't say it's the coaches that didn't have them ready. I just don't think they were ready as a team, and they've got to have better leadership.
Appreciate you calling, Jacob. Always a pleasure, and go Mavs tomorrow night.
Okay. Yeah. Good luck, OKC.
Thank you, sir. All right. Yeah, a couple of things. A lot of comments here that I've not had time to get to, and we're going to prioritize the super chats as always. Fake Caitlin Clark. I'm pretty sure Caitlin didn't jump on this live stream, just like Lisa Bluter didn't jump on the stream yesterday. Fake Caitlin Clark says, I don't need no learning curve. I'm the best in the world, fools. Gangsta Caitlin is here, and I'm mowing the WNBA down. All right.
I so hope she feels that way.
And Rome says, dudes act like I was built in a day. Have patience.
I agree, Rome.
What does that mean? I was built in a day.
Like Rome, he's saying his name is Rome. Rome wasn't built in a day.
Wow, people are being creative with the usernames. I like
They're very creative. I think they're hilarious, personally.
Way over my head. But thank you, Rome. Appreciate the super chat. And let's go to our next caller. We have got Corey on hold. Corey, welcome.
All right, quick Freudian slip. Go Hawks. I mean, I'm sorry.
You got the Iowa jacket on, so
right across the chest.
Hey, first off, sorry, I'm always at a loss of a voice, but that's normal.
Are you emotional this evening, Corey? Are you emotional over this loss?
Listen, I've sent out some nasty texts. I said, just let CC22 shoot the damn ball, okay?
Well, she shot it 15 times. I mean, she did shoot it 15 times. She's surrounded by a bunch of pros.
Still not enough.
She
You
shot
gotta let her
hold
shoot
on
at
a
20,
second.
22.
She shot 11 threes. I'm not gonna let you off the hook, Corey. She shot 11 threes and turned the ball over 10 times.
Yeah, but
I'm
she was
not
just
I'm
getting
just saying,
warmed up.
So what do you want her to take? 30 shots? You want to take
20,
23?
22. The magic number is 22. Okay.
Uh,
Kachine, glad to have your smile once again tonight. I was a bit concerned. I saw her driving behind the wheel the last time camera, and I was concerned, but she made it. She's safe.
I made it safely.
Okay. I'm new to the WNBA, and I just want to, here's my take, and I want Kachine to correct me. But I feel like I watched Asia Wilson for a few minutes with the Aces. The shot to be taken is that mid 10, 12 footer. It's there for the taking. Indiana took 0 mids. They tried to take it all the way to the hole every single time, and they either got fouled, mugged, or hacked, and they didn't call it. And to me, in the WNBA, it's just a hellhole down there in the post. It's a mess. And I think the secret is to take advantage of that mid-range shot. You look at Asia Wilson. She's the
She lives there.
She's coming out of there with points galore, untouched, uncontested. And I just think if you're not gonna, two things for Indiana. Number one, pull up from that mid-range. Quit trying to take it all the way to the hole. Number two, when Caitlin's out there and she was dancing around, and I know Miss Siders doesn't like that, but she was ready to pull the trigger, and then she stopped herself. And I think she needs to pull it and hit it. That's my take.
Let me just say this, Corey, and then I'll let you finish off with whatever you had to say. I'm not going to give a perspective of some WNBA expert, but as someone who's watched the NBA my entire life, that's what I have to relate this to. I know Caitlin Clark has been larger than life and larger than the game in some respects, but the bottom line, I'm not endorsing Indiana's head coach. I know nothing about her other than what Kachine said earlier and what I read this week about kind of her controversial stance on certain things. But nobody's bigger than the game at this level. Like Kachine talked about how some of the other players are likely reacting or have reacted to the Caitlin Clark hype. Clark cannot just say to the coach, "Oh, forget you. I'm going to go off and do what I want because this is my team now." Like that's not how it works. Not at this level. It's not how it works. Like I see these people in the comments, the chat saying, "Well, she's got her teammates aren't any good." But again, do we realize these are the best of the best? It's like the people back in the day, Corey, that used to say, "Well, the Alabama national championship football teams could have beaten the worst Jacksonville Jaguar teams." Do you know how stupid that comment is? That's one of the stupidest comments I've ever heard people say, and people actually believed it. Because then I'm not saying you would endorse that statement, but I think we have to realize how good everybody in this league is. It takes, look at all the people that got cut from the second round that don't even have a chance to make a roster this year.
Right. And I'll say this, and to your point, the biggest thing that stunned me is the closing speed of the defenders on the passes that Caitlin Clark is making. They're closing hard. They're closing fast. So those windows are a lot tighter than they were in college. I think that's definitely a wake-up call for Caitlin that she's not going to get as wide of a window. That said, I think that with respect to Caitlin Clark, it takes her more than 0.5 seconds to get her defender moving to to create her misdirection step back three. And so I think you have to let her do her thing. And it's going to take longer than 0.5 seconds, which is the amount of time Coach Siders had allowed her. And so that's my one concern is that, listen, I think we need to just keep it green light for Caitlin mentally. And then on her passing, there's an adjustment. It is much tighter windows. It is not like it was. My God, these girls, I'm impressed by these defenders' closing speed, their reaction. And then lastly, I'll just say this. I feel like Aaliyah Boston is on an island by herself. She's like the only big on this team. It's sticking out like a sore thumb. Unless they can get them on the run and do it like Caitlin and Hannah Stolke did on the run in transition, I just see this as an uphill battle down on the post. I don't see, I mean, Aaliyah Boston is fantastic, but it's tough when she's the only real post down there, and she's not like 6'7". So to me, it looks difficult. They've got to have a transition game to have success. It's going to have to go like Iowa if they're going to make a run and get into the playoffs. It's going to have to be with a transition game. To me, I see they're missing a 4. They're missing a bigger 4 to support Aaliyah Boston. Because, man,
they got
just,
what?
So
she's their second best player.
All right. At this point, I'm counting on you, Kachine. Put me in my place. I want your perspective. You've been there, but I was speaking from a layman. I'm a Hawkeye diehard.
Yep.
And I bleed black and gold. I bleed Caitlin Clark and Kate Martin. But Kachine, can you give me your take on this? And I love you, Corey, but we got the expert here. We got to take advantage of it.
Thank you, Corey. Appreciate the call, Corey. Just react to that. I mean, you obviously didn't agree with that last statement about a 4.
No, because they're 4 players. They're second best player, and sometimes their best player right now in Smith. So she averaged 20 points in both their preseason games. So I think we're good there. I think Boston she needs to get her feet together. Last year she was good. So I think she just needs to get her feet together. I don't have, like I said, guys, this is one game. Like, it's okay. Yep. Don't worry. After like 3rd and 4th, we can have a conversation about, what they're doing. Because every game they've got to learn from. They're going to go watch film. They're going to adjust. That's the name of the game. Again, they were horrible. It doesn't just happen overnight.
For people that are confused as to what we're talking about, if you didn't hear, I guess before we get to it, what do you know about Christy Sides, the head coach for the Fever? Do you know much about her, Kachine?
I know she's been in the WNBA for a little while as an assistant coach. As far as her complete background, that I'm not 100% sure. But I do know she's been in the WNBA as an assistant coach before.
Okay, if anybody missed the comments she made about Caitlin Clark, they've been referenced. Why don't we go ahead and I'll share those comments that Christy Sides made regarding Caitlin Clark. Here's what Sides had to say.
Season game 3 today. Is there a balance? What are you seeing that's kind of causing that? Is there a balance you'd like to see with that, or is that something you plan to address?
Yeah, I think she's used to some shots that she's taken in the last few years that are just those deep shots. And I don't know if there's times she comes off ball screens where she's open in that long 2 area, and we've got to get her comfortable taking that long 2. She's going to get looks. She's going to get open looks. She's got to figure out, I gave her a rule the other day. She's got 0.5 seconds to make a decision. When she gets off the ball and she hits one of our high posts and somebody in the high post, she has a habit of hanging out and dancing. That's what she's done. It's these habits that we've got to break. She's got players around her now that she can get out, she can go screen, and the ball's going to get back to her. And that's what she hasn't had in the past. So that's what we've been trying to show her and explain to her.
Okay, so that's. I'm just curious your comments on that, Kachine, because Corey mentioned it. The whole dancing thing. I understand the concept of a bad habit, and not saying that she's expected to have as much freedom with the ball in the pros. But 0.5 seconds seems a little bit extreme. You tell me I'm wrong on that. Is that do you think that's putting
I think
in an unfair position?
I think extreme is usually how you change a habit, because nobody's really going to make a decision in 0.5 seconds. Right. But if you're in your mindset of trying to make the read faster, I think that's, if you give her 4 seconds, she's probably going to take all 4 seconds. Right. Because that's not used to what she's doing. So I don't think she actually means 0.5 seconds. But if you put that in her head, it allows her to try to make something faster. I saw that when it came out. And I think she's right. We've been talking about Caitlin in the long two and the mid-range game all season.
She really does not have a mid-range game.
She doesn't. And I get it, and we want to see Caitlin shoot the three, and so does Caitlin. Right. But at the same time, we want to grow her game. We don't want her to just become stagnant. We want her to be the best of the best of the best of the best. She conquered that in college, but it's going to take that next step for her to do that in the WNBA. Like I said, these is grown women we talk about. So she's going to need that next step. They've seen a lot more basketball than she has, a lot more. And so I think for her, that is her next step, is to take the two and become more multifaceted in her game. Like she's got to have more in her bag. So I think that's what they're trying to develop her. In the meantime, everybody just wants to see her win. That's not going to happen when you're trying to better your game because you're thinking too much. So she's got to find that balance right now. And like I said, it's going to take a second for you to find that comfortable groove spot of taking what the defense gives you and also being Caitlin Clark. So she's got to find out what that identity is now.
And one more time, I'm going to address a comment in the chat that bugs me. Brad, thank you for being here. I don't know if you're a WNBA fan. I don't recognize your name, but thank you for being here. But he says, Caitlin needs to get much better. She'll fizzle away at this rate. Words are very powerful, as Dr. Phil would say. Words are very powerful. So when you say she will fizzle away at this rate, they've played one game. Okay, that's the rate. So I disagree completely with the comment. I understand she needs to be better. 10 turnovers.
She didn't even play well, and she scored 20.
She scored 20, and she didn't shoot. You can do worse than shooting 4 of 11 from 3.
Oh, for sure. But at the same time, there's plenty of people who shoot 15 shots a game and still don't get 20. They have a bad game, they have a bad game. But at the end of the day, you still have to give credit where credit is due. She is a rookie in a curve on a new team, trying to find her way, and she's still scoring 20 points. She's going to be fine.
Clearly have some passionate Fever fans in here, which is great. Rick says, simple, habitual losers playing like habitual losers, ready for another season as doormats. So either that's a really disgruntled Fever fan or it's a rival fan. So who is Indiana's biggest rival, Kachine? Is it
couldn't even tell you.
Would be
and nobody, it sounds, you can't have a rival when you suck. No, who cares? Honestly speaking, if you've not been good, what rival?
With all due respect, Nebraska has plenty of rivals. Let's go back to our call-in line.
Okay, that's just because they're not nice people.
Doug, welcome to the show.
Yeah. First, I just want to say thank you to all the people that have reached out or said something nice, and even have a couple of the former Hawkeye players reach out. That was really cool. And thank you for reaching out, Corey. And it's been a tough month with the loss of my mother, but she she was a great person, and loved the Hawkeyes. The last game I got to watch was the national championship game with her on April 7th, and that was pretty awesome. She actually got into it quite a bit, and yeah, so I appreciate that a lot,
We
Corey.
appreciate you being here, Doug. We've been thinking about you, and
Thoughts are with you.
Yeah.
our whole community here from the Hawkeye of the Storm. So we're just appreciative that you're here, and we're just glad you're here.
Well, like I said, my Hawkeyes have gotten me through a lot of difficult points in my life and made a lot of cold, horrible winter nights a lot better watching the men play and starting to get into women's basketball quite a bit here. I've given this story before. My mom was a Brownie leader here in Central Iowa, and we went to an Iowa State game before Bill Finley was there. And I think they were playing Drake, and Lisa was the coach, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, it was the early 90s, and there was 40 people at Hilton, and I might not be exaggerating, to see where the women's game has been. Whoa! So, you good?
Absolutely.
I'm great.
Now you have the fever. You have the fever to
well, maybe I'm an Ace fan. Maybe I want to follow Kate Martin.
You can do that too. By the
I'm
way,
always following Ace. They're my favorite team, but keep going.
If anybody wants an update on that game, just so people are aware, it's 42-41 halftime. The Aces leading the Mercury over on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus. Or if you have Disney Plus, it's also on Disney Plus. And Megan Gustafson.
Diana must be hooping.
Let's see. She's got
Is she hooping?
4 of 6 from 3. She got 12 points. Las Vegas. How about this? Was mentioned earlier, but Asia Wilson with 21 first half points, keeping the Aces.
MVP. She coming for everybody next.
All right.
Lord.
I named 6 players now. I'm nowhere near 80%.
Kelsey Plum's got 9 points, 4 of 11. Megan Gustafson, 9 minutes played, 2 points, 1 rebound. Kate Martin has not entered. And
What about Jackie? Sorry. Just kidding.
Jackie has got Jackie Young. Let's see here. I went off the box score. She has 4 points on 2 of 7 shooting, 4 assists, 3 boards.
Ooh. She got to pick it up. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, again, I hope I'm will hopefully say some things that will ease some people's mind about the transition. And the Fever weren't good. There's a reason why they got the first pick last year. The Sun. I was reading somewhere where the average WNBA player is quite a bit even older than the average NBA player. The league is very veteran and has a lot of veterans, and those girls have been playing together for a long time. And again, this is a team that is in a rebuilding stage, and it's going to take time. They probably don't have as much talent as the rest of the teams in the league. And, that's what it is. I've made the comparison before of comparing, and there's a lot of reasons why I would do this. And I compared Pistol Pete's entry into the NBA very similar to Caitlin's. Yes, they're both all-time leading scorers. But there was a lot of resentment for Pistol Pete because he got a salary that was his salary was more than the rest of the Atlanta Hawk team combined. So he made as much by himself as the Atlanta Hawk team combined made. And there was a lot of racial tension, a lot of tension there. A lot of people thought thinking he got too much hype. He wasn't the Great White Hope, all these things. And, I was just looking at his first game. He scored 7 points, had 4 rebounds and 3 assists. That was Pistol Pete's first game in the NBA. Lou Alcindor, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar had 32 points, 17 rebounds. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar let Pistol Pete have it. And as you said, Cash, they don't let her have it. The turnovers, just as your last caller suggested, these are better athletes. She's never seen anyone like this. I mean, she's seen 1 or 2 players like this, not, 11. Yeah. I laughed once because somebody asked me, what was the best basketball team in the state of Iowa? I said the Iowa Wolves. They killed the Hawkeyes, or, Luka Garza, was our star player, Luka Garza is 3 years older and playing with the Wolves. Yeah, the Wolves played Iowa. I've asked a Vegas guy that too, so I'm not just saying it off my head. But these girls are older, smarter, not smart, more experienced, and yeah.
Oh, they're smarter, Doug. They're smarter. I mean, basketball IQ does have something to do with success, right, Kachine?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and honestly, you guys think of it like this. Think about Caitlin's last year. Okay, now, let's not even go that far. When the season started, she was playing nonstop. Y'all think about the minutes she plays and how many games of the last season. They played in the championship game, and then in less than a week, she had to go to the WNBA draft, and then flew right back out, went to the Indiana Fever, and started practice, I think, in like 2 days. And she has not had a break. I know she's exhausted. She has to be. There's no possible way that girl is not exhausted. Like, playing that much basketball, and especially how much we leaned on her at Iowa, and now having to turn around and now you're playing bigger, faster, stronger, smarter women, sorry. Yeah, like, she be tired. She has to be. She has to be. Corey, like, she just has to be. I don't know how she's not. If she got to be.
I go back to what I've said several times. I am by no means an expert on this league, but I think it's absolutely insane, the turnaround. I understand. I'm assuming, Kachine, like, the reason the WNBA is positioned when it is to take advantage of the slower summer months in sports. Is that fair? That's the only reason.
I mean, yeah, but we ain't got to start that damn close. Like, I never understood that, and I still don't to this day.
I don't understand it either, especially because we have the NBA playoffs still going. So
yeah, somebody got to fix that.
Interest in bowl. Start the season at least in June. You're giving players that were drafted time to acclimate with their teams. Players that ended up playing deep into March and even into April, like Caitlin. Time to acclimate.
Players coming back overseas. It's yeah, they got to fix that. It's been like that as long as I can remember, and I never understood it. I think it's detrimental to players' health, from being frank.
The only thing I can think of is they're trying to figure out a way to take advantage of these months to where they can deal with the least amount of crossover into football as possible, because the season goes into September and even into October. So the later you push it back, the more you're competing with the NFL and with college football. And then if you go into November, you're starting to compete with college basketball and the NBA again.
And the NBA again. Yeah.
The transition game with the super chat. Truth is, I left Indiana a long time ago. Thank you for the super chat there. And DC Hawkeye. Cool. Thank you, DC Hawkeye. Switching gears for a minute. Any word on how the Sea-Doo Traore visit went this past Sunday? So that, if anybody, I've not talked about it on the channel, but if you are a Hawkeye fan, this is what the question is regarding. I do appreciate the question. I don't have any specific information to share regarding Traore. I have not reached out yet. We'll plan on doing that tomorrow. But yes, he did make it to Iowa City. He's a Manhattan transfer, very athletic and we'll definitely share that, DC Hawkeye, when I get some word on how the visit went. That would be a great ad for Iowa, especially on the glass, because he'll be a second-year guy, and I think he averaged close to 8 boards a game at the D1 level last year. So that's a breath of fresh air to a group that has struggled in Fran McCaffrey's team to get on the glass here in recent seasons. So thank you for that question. Let's go back to our call-in line. Thank you for calling Iowa Post. Boy, I'm not going to get that out of my head. Fever postgame, WNBA postgame with Kachine Alexander. Who's on the line?
Hey, Corey, what's up? Hey, Cash. I had a couple of points I wanted to make. Caitlin's kind of in a weird place right now because she is the best player on the team, but at the same time, she's a rookie. So it's not like she's going to come in and start, telling the veterans what to do and taking that alpha role right away.
Nor should she.
Also, yeah, right. Also, I just think, and I want Cash's opinion on this too. I don't know exactly what the coach is trying to do with Caitlin. She's not, like, as a coach, as someone with Caitlin's ability and talent, I would want her to take more of a Luka role on the team, handling the ball more. a lot of times she's not taking the ball up the court. She's kind of playing the 2-guard role a lot of times, and I don't quite get that. And lastly, watching this game, it's clear that the roster is not really optimal for Caitlin Clark's abilities and talents, and she needs just the right players around her. And I also think I don't like the coach either. She needs a better coach that I think will give her just a better opportunity for success.
I have a question. How do we know that off of one game? I'm just wondering.
I guess we don't know it exactly off one game, but what I saw tonight and what I kind of saw in the preseason, it looks like the chemistry is just not there with this team. The parts don't quite mix together the right way. I feel like she just needs the right players around her to, reach the team's potential.
The only thing I'll say to that, in my tunnel vision perspective as a NBA guy and as a Mavs guy, say what you want about Dallas, but if anybody watched Dallas Mavericks basketball late last season when Kyrie and Luka first paired up, it was ugly. And
that was horrible.
Did not make the playoffs, and they are one of the better teams in the West. Now, they blew an opportunity last night to put a firm clamp down on this series and make it 3-1. But my point is, they still got shot at making the Western Conference Finals, and who knows? They're one of the better teams in the NBA this year, 1 year removed from the struggles of late last season. So it takes time to Kachine's point. It takes, especially when you have somebody who's so unique and what's the word that I'm looking for with Caitlin? It's not like just any new player, right? This is someone who has played the game in a way that has changed the game. Like, how often can we say that about any sport, having a player single-handedly change the game? Caitlin's done that in some regards. She's yet to be able to do that in the NBA, the WNBA, but yeah, larger sample size is definitely needed.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that. Last year I watched Dallas. They did not look that good chemistry-wise. Obviously, they're much better this year. But I would like to have a system, kind of like when Luka came into the league, what he had. He got to have the ball in his hands more, facilitate more. Caitlin's third all-time in assists, almost 4,000 points in her career. I think she should have the ball in her hands more as a facilitator, as opposed to having her, kind of play the 2 role a lot of times, have somebody else bring the ball up the court. I would like the ball in her hands more. That's just me. Also, to the point of like 0.5 seconds, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. I think that, being third all time in assists, her decision making is fine. Obviously she is going to have.
I wouldn't agree with that. She got 10 turnovers.
No, I know. I agree with that. I mean, she had a bad game, but you kind of live with that with her, with Caitlin, because of all the other things she can do.
Well, you don't live.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't live with. You don't live with 10 turnovers. That's horrible. That's. I mean,
no. Yeah,
and obviously that I'm not blaming.
Right.
I'm just saying it's first game, but 10 turnovers is incredibly bad.
Right.
And like I said, we said this before. Like, I think it's going to take a second. We talk about Caitlin and her curve. It's also Sides is going to have to figure out how to coach Caitlin. There's a curve no matter how you flip it. Even with Steph Curry, they have literally said, the Warriors' whole coaching staff has said that it took them a second to learn how to coach him, because that is a talent you do not see often. And it took them a minute to kind of figure out what was best for Steph and what he can and cannot do. Because at the end of the day, the sky's the limit when you have a shooter like that. Caitlin is kind of the same. It's going to take her a second to kind of figure it out. I'm not against her working on Caitlin's decision-making, because as much as we want to sit here and say, yes, she was a fantastic passer, but her last 3 games, or her first 3 games in the WNBA, she has had terrible assist to turnover ratio. There's a reason for it, because the curve is different. They're faster, they're quicker, stuff closes fast. And with that, she's got to adjust. She still has the mentality of a passer. She's still going to be a great passer. She just has to adjust. I do agree a little bit that Caitlin needs to have the ball in her hands a little bit more. I think they're taking in the sense of she is a scorer, so let's run her off of screens and have another ball handler, per se. But I'm not sure that that's working in our benefit. I think she needs to balance that out a little bit because Caitlin is better with ball screens. She's better with things like that. So let her do that. However, she was atrocious on ball screens today because they were trapping her ass. So she did not know how to work through that. And I think that's also something Caitlin's going to have to work through, and she will. But I think that's why they took her off the ball, because they're trying to keep her out of those situations. Does it benefit us? Probably not in the ending, but you got to give her a little time to adjust. And I think that's what the Indiana Fever coaching staff is trying to do. They're not trying to feed her to the fire because they can't. They can feed her to the fire and then she'd look even worse. So I think that they're trying to get her acclimated, work on the things we know is a struggle for her, and at the same time still allow her to be productive. So there's an adjustment on both ends. There's adjustment for Caitlin. There's an adjustment for her teammates. There's an adjustment for the coaching staff, and they'll figure it out. I will say though, I don't think that they have the best all around team. They are missing some pieces. I will definitely say that.
When Trey first came into the league with the Warriors, I mean the
Uh-oh.
We lose you, caller?
Oh, this whole time I thought it was me. Okay.
Let's see. We got our caller back. Can you hear me, caller? Everybody can hear me, right?
I can hear you. I don't know what's going on. I can hear you.
All right. I don't know what's going on either. All right. We'll see if our caller rejoins. Let's go to our next caller. I don't want to cut him off because he's in the middle of a good thought, but let's go to our next caller here. Thank you for calling WNBA postgame with Kachine Alexander, who's on the line.
Hi, this is Antoine. How are you?
Good, Antoine. How are you?
Hi, Antoine.
Doing well. Hey, how are you?
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Man, I just had some comments about the game, the Fever game. I just watched it. I just had some comments.
Absolutely. Let's hear them.
Man, I thought I thought Caitlin, she handled herself well as far as her posture and her character as far as the first game. The 10 turnovers, I thought they were just jitters. I thought maybe she was just nervous. I do believe she needs to have the ball more. And I'm saying, and it would have been cool to see like them setting like screens or double screens, just to get her more open. I'm saying to try to get her in a better situation, because once the scorer can see the ball go through the hoop, you know what I'm saying, then it's like a big pond. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like maybe if the coach could have maybe drawn up a few more plays. But I'm saying I think each game, I'm saying, because she does have that grit and that heart, I believe each game she's going to get better and better. She still had 20 points.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. She still had 20 points, but I still believe each game she's going to get better and better.
Is that a fair assessment?
I couldn't have said it better myself, Antoine.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And and so it just I'm saying, and it's good for the game. Man, I'm like, it's really good for the game. I'm saying, because also as a ball player, you realize when I'm saying they may be coming to see Caitlin, but then somebody else may see somebody else that may shine. They be like, man, I never knew about that player. Man, I ain't knew she was that good. So it's just good for the overall game.
There's going to be a lot of that going on. A lot of that going on. And I honestly, we talk about chemistry. We've talked about Caitlin adjusting, the fact that she's so unique and that she played the latest she possibly could play in college into April.
Literally.
And then you turn around with the draft, all of that. And then you add in what Kachine said earlier regarding, I believe it's Kelsey Mitchell that's coming off injury. And that's someone that
Caitlin, she barely played.
Big Ten player, former Big Ten player, but that's a factor. You don't get a long preseason. It's certainly not as long as the NBA's preseason. there's so many things involved here. And then you got a coach that's fairly or unfairly asking Caitlin to play a way that she has not played maybe ever. Certainly not how she's been allowed to play the last 4 years. And I love this comment in the chat. So, somebody saying, y'all want a coach fired that you didn't even know existed 30 days ago.
That is hilarious.
I understand those comments. Like I get the comment being controversial. However, I just think before there's a ton of judgment cast down on some of these professionals, recognizing that like there's a reason she's coaching, not saying that coaches are infallible and that she's going to work out. Maybe she will be fired at the end of the year. I don't know, but
no. We don't want that. It's just sometimes we have to, as we say in basketball, know your personnel, right? So you have to know the type of player that's coming in, and then a coach's job is to put them in the best position to be successful, but not just for them, but also for the team.
Absolutely. Would you agree with that, Kachine?
I do. Absolutely. But she just got to figure it out. Because again, they only been doing it for 2 weeks.
I appreciate it. And so it's just, like I say, just a couple down screens. I'm saying a few more picks. And let's get up and down. You get more shots in transition. I've never been a rule of walking the ball up, because now you get your defense time to set up. Let's run. Let's go.
Absolutely. And
that's Caitlin game. So I would love to see it.
Appreciate you calling in, sir.
Hey, have a great one.
You as well. Appreciate the phone call. I guess I didn't ask Antoine if he's a Fever fan or if he's just a.
I know. Put it in the chat, Antoine, or something. You know, because I would love to. We didn't answer that. He's definitely new. I never heard his voice before, so you know, I love new callers.
I don't think he was Iowa fan. Kelly in the chat. Anyone else think Grace Berger should be playing more? Maybe some. I mean, I'm not saying you're wrong, but maybe some Big Ten bias there from Kelly. We've seen a lot of really good Grace Berger basketball. Do you have any thoughts on that, Kachine?
I don't have a thought, really. So I'm going to go with clearly not, because I don't really have a thought about it. I think they don't have enough guards. They don't. I think they've got Aaliyah Boston. They've got Smith. They've got Katie Lou Samuelson, who can play kind of the 4-3 position if you wanted to. But I don't, who, besides Kelsey Mitchell, when she gets herself going, she gets back from injury, because she is a bucket. Okay, that is a fact. There is nobody else.
Christy Wallace.
Besides Caitlin and,
Christy Wallace. Didn't she
Christy
play
Wallace is what?
She played 17 minutes tonight. You're talking about guards, right?
Yeah, but she's not a guard I would consider a bucket.
Oh,
so,
no. I just thought you were talking about.
No, I meant like they need more in that area. If Caitlin gets into foul trouble, or even Mitchell gets into foul trouble, who else we got really? So I don't like the guard setup we got.
I love how you were already saying who else we got. So you're already adopting this team as your team?
I have to. It's Hawkeye, so I don't have no choice. However, I already told you who my team is. But
you love the Aces. No. The Aces have multiple Hawkeyes.
I love the Aces. I love all of them. And I got 2 Hawkeyes on there too, so now I'm really good. But I've loved the Aces since they put together that 3 of Asia and the point god and Plum. So I've loved that team, and then obviously Becky Hammond. I love her. So it was just the perfect team for me. It did help.
Tragus 44. Thank you for the super chat.
Oh.
Great to hear regarding CC's first game. Thank you, Tragus. Appreciate you being here. Let's go to our next caller. We've got Josh on hold. Josh, welcome.
Hey, what's up, man? This is my first time calling in. I just wanted to make 3 very quick points. And the first point is as far as Caitlin's 10 turnovers tonight, how much of that is really on Caitlin, and how much of that is just on her teammates not being where they were supposed to be, or where she thought they were supposed to be, or something like that? Because Caitlin has never been a bad passer, right? So she didn't suddenly become one tonight. And people know that Indiana is a bad team. So I mean, I think a lot of those turnovers could be on. I mean, some of them are on her, obviously, but I think a lot of them could be on her teammates as well.
And to be clear, Caitlin had, I think she had a game of 8 turnovers. She was averaging 5.5 turnovers per game in the preseason in her 2 games. So I think she had a game of 7 or 8 turnovers in preseason. So it's not a one-off. Kachine, speed of game, chemistry, all those things are a factor. Windows are tight.
All of it is a factor because the speed of the game, Caitlin's passing is not as accurate as it normally is because of the speed of the game. She's getting sped up as much as the defense is closing. Her players, her teammates don't know her. So at the end of the day, they also don't know where to go. Kate Martin knew exactly where to go. You know, all of the players, Sydney and Falsh, they knew where she was going to pass the ball before she even passed the ball. So it's not so much like anybody's bad or anything like that. It's just the simple fact of they knew Caitlin's thoughts. Like her team now doesn't know her thoughts. They haven't played enough to know each other's thoughts. So I think it's a mixture of all of those. I'm not saying that Caitlin all of a sudden became a bad passer. Absolutely not, right? But there is, like I said, the curve of not only the pace and play, but also the fact that her teammates have no idea what she's thinking, or she's actually going to try to get that here, or whatever it is. They're just not. They're not prepared for that. And when you have a passer, no matter at what level, and you have a passer like Caitlin Clark, and I'm sure there was some kind of adjustment to the Iowa players too when Caitlin got here. I'm sure she didn't smack somebody in the face. I'm sure there was all kinds of things that had happened that we didn't see because it was during practice for months. But I'm sure there was the same kind of adjustment. We just didn't see it, because it was in practice. I agree with that. It will get better. She just they gotta get together in jail more.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's kind of where I was going with that. So yeah, no, I agree with everything you just said pretty much. Now I want to ask you guys something, and not to really take a dark turn, but it's just something that's been on my mind over for the last week. And part of it is, admittedly, I grew up in like a rougher environment than a lot of you did, but I'm kind of thinking about people possibly.
You sure about that?
I don't know. I'm from Milwaukee. Top 10 most.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I just lost my train of thought. Oh, I'm thinking about the possibility of people on other teams intentionally trying to injure Caitlin out of the jealousy and the hate and everything that's on her. And in sports, there's a lot of ways to intentionally injure somebody while making it look like an accident. So, I mean, do you guys think that that's a possibility? Because, I mean, I think it kind of could be, because she's got a lot of hate right now.
I'll tell you what, there are other players that are, I guess I can't say that because I'm not in the league, but my assumption, my guess is there are other players in other leagues that are more hated. I'll give you an example. I cannot imagine anybody besides maybe current or former teammates having a ton of respect for Ndama Kung Su with the way he played the game and some of the things that were well documented about what he did on tape. So if somebody
You're going to my generation now.
What's that?
You're going back to my generation now with Sue.
Well, but I'm just saying, he's a good example of someone to me, dirty player. That's the nicest, kindest way to say it. Dirty player. I cannot imagine that there weren't guys that hated that dude. Richie Incognito. Richie Incognito. Think about what his reputation was in the league after the whole hazing scandal down in Tampa Bay with Jonathan Martin. There are guys like that for much worse reasons than just Caitlin Clark's a little popular and we're jealous. So I would hope that the dignity, or I shouldn't say dignity, but the
there's a lot of WNBA players that really do hate her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not doubting that.
I don't think they hate her. I think they're just tired of hearing about it. That's all. I don't think anybody hates Caitlin Clark. I think that because they know what she's doing for the sport. It's just the fact of bro, we've been here doing this. Hello. And I think, there's a better way for them to handle it. I will tell you, there is one game in particular I'm very nervous about. Anybody want to take a wild guess?
Las Vegas?
Nope. There's one game I'm very nervous about for Caitlin Clark. anybody know or want to take a wild guess of what team I am referring to?
I don't know.
Come on, it's got to be easy.
Why would that be easy? Okay,
I'm looking to see if anybody gets it in the chat. Yes, Ryan, first one, Phoenix Mercury, period. And I'm going to tell you why. It's not for what you think it is, because Diana is going to be Diana. She's been dirty since I don't know how long, right? That's just what she is. But there is a girl on their team that is known for being dirty. You can go look her name up and you will find dirty plays. Sophia Cunningham. She is always into it with somebody. Like, people want to punch her on the court. Like, it's always something. She is probably going to be guarding Caitlin, which tells me that there's going to be some kind of friction with that. And then you got Diana hyping it up. Like, that game, Lord Jesus, I'm just going to pray, because I'm nervous. I'll just be honest. No other team I'm actually nervous about. None. Because I don't see many players like that. But it's 100% Phoenix Mercury. Mm-hmm.
Josh, anything
that
else to
is
add?
the only team that I would think like you, in the sense of, I guess we want to say dark. I'm nervous.
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
So yeah, you can go look her up. Go look up Sophia Cunningham. Dirty plays. You'll find it.
The only thing I have left to ask you is, I don't know if I'm getting your podcast confused with another Hawkeye podcast that I was listening to a couple weeks ago. Or were you the one that was like looking for like positive life events in your fans' lives or whatever for them to tell you or whatever like that? Or is that someone else?
Boy, I don't remember doing that.
Oh,
First of all, it could not have been. It could not have been another Hawkeye podcast, because there is no other Hawkeye.
Because there isn't one.
This is the only Hawkeye podcast worth listening to. I'm just joking. But no, that was not us. I don't think we were asking for life stories, testimonials.
Oh no, not life stories. It was just like positive stuff. But that's okay. I was just asking about that. But yeah, I've said what I had to say. But yeah, I just feel like it's not all on Caitlin. Like, you know what I'm saying? Some of it's her teammates. Some of it's on her, but some of it is not. And so that was kind of what my main point was.
Absolutely. Josh, appreciate you calling in. Please come back. We enjoyed talking to you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right. Colleen, woman commentator, that's you, Kachine, is biased.
Clearly.
Making excuses.
Who am I biased to? Because I done said negative about everybody. So I'm not. I'm biased too. And what am I making excuses for? And I highly doubt that Kheen has ever played in the WNBA. So I help me out, Kheen. What am I making excuses about? Do you know? I doubt it. Moving on.
Xavier says, good thing Clark got paid before, because her marketing is going down after this. Wow. That's pushing the panic.
I doubt that. Yeah, that's
a little tiny.
That's definitely not happening. I mean, do you see how many people just want to watch just because of her?
We were up over 500 people watching here a few minutes ago, and I really didn't do great with promotion. And we thought we might get a hit in viewership this evening, because you have Kate Martin and Megan Gustafson team playing on ESPN2 while we're on the air. So it's impressive to see the turnout. James Ramsey says Boston faced all these players last year, won Rookie of the Year. What's going on with her this year? One game in.
I don't know. That's a great question. Can't even tell you. I don't know. But we need her. That's a fact.
All right, here we go. Now we got a Phoenix fan in here taking offense. So this is what you ticked some Mercury fan off. That's what you did.
Who is a Johnny come lately? I've been watching the WNBA probably before anybody in here. And then secondly, go look up Sophia Cunningham. Did I not say Sophia Cunningham? Did I say the Phoenix Mercury? I did not. I said the Phoenix Mercury. And because Sophia Cunningham has been in more dirty situations of pulling people's legs, hitting people, all kind of stuff. Her and funny enough, I don't know how they teammates. Her and Aaliyah almost got into a whole fight when she was with the Chicago Sky over that. What? Now maybe he was talking about other people in the chat, you know. So I'm going to say that that's what he was doing, and he was not referring to me.
Johnny come lately equals Kachine equals Michael Jordan equals woman commentator. all the different ways we refer to you on this show.
Literally every way possible. But again, everybody has an opinion. It don't bother me one way or the other, personally.
Oh, okay. We're going to try to hit these last few callers. We got Tyler, we got James, got a couple more here. So we're going to try to get through this. Our plan was
Evan, Sophia was dirty at. Evan says Sophia was dirty at Missouri. Yeah, she was. Like, that's just who she is. She's been known for that since I can remember.
All right, let's get to our next caller. Thank you for calling our post-game coverage with Kachine Alexander, who's on the line.
Hello?
Hello, you're on the air.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah, I was just calling. How you guys doing?
We're good. How are
We're
you?
good. How are you?
Good. Good. Down here in the Florida heat. But, yeah, I watched the game tonight. You know, they looked a little stagnant like you guys have been talking in the first. If you go and you look at what Clark was doing, she kind of didn't look like she knew what she wanted to do after she got rid of the ball. She did stand around a lot in the first half.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't sure what to do after she got rid of it. You know, kind of like Iowa did. They put 4 people on the outside and 1 in the middle just to spread the floor. And but nobody was getting open. When she was out there with, you know, you're talking about the passing. What's the girl's name on the other team that's the MVP?
Alyssa Thomas. Or are you talking about Aces?
She was the MVP. Anyway, she had like 12 assists.
Oh, Alyssa Thomas. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, most of them would have. Caitlin would have passed and made them. Maybe I could have. A lot of those, the players were moving and they'd get open. And then they would clear passes. Most of the passes that Clark's making, trying to get them in the spots that with the, you know, players being better than college, they're really tight and they got to be perfect. And then trying to go overhead. Boston's not as tall as some of the other players. So that makes it hard to drop it in. They missed a few of those tonight. I didn't think Clark got playing better till the second half and maybe almost just before the fourth when she made that first 3 back there. And then she started, I don't know, someone said something to her, what? She seemed to get more aggressive. She started trying to go to the boards and shooting the threes and get open on her own. What did you think?
She loosened up a little bit.
You know, so.
And she was hitting some of those, you know, it was brought up earlier, her not dribbling around as much and coming off screen. She was hitting some threes, catching off, you know, catch and shoot threes coming off screens. I'm guessing that we're going to see with the way her head coach apparently wants her playing, we're going to probably see a higher percentage of her 3-point shots being from coming off screens, off ball movement. Is that fair than what we saw in college?
From what we've seen, yeah. I mean, so what we've seen so far, that's what you would assume. Now, I hope that they reevaluate that. But
yeah, and some of the things that Sides has said is she wants them coming off double screens, you know, or she can screen and come off the screen and she'll be open and get her open that way. And just the way it got looking towards the end of the game where she was moving better, she seemed to be pumped up better. None of them seemed to move very fast in the first half. The other team looked a lot faster. And I just think she's so used to, she'd come down and I think she plays, if she doesn't see anything once she crosses half court, I think she goes into almost a one-on-one mode at first to see if she's got something. And then if not, she looks to either drive or pass it, you know, drive and pass it off, you know, try to draw the attention and then pass it off. And even in these games, she's getting 3-4 people coming towards her when she's driving, but it's different than college. She's got no place to pass it.
Yeah.
She just, you know, they're quicker. I've been watching the other game here. I've been watching the Mercury Aces game. And a lot of those people, they're throwing passes around, getting assists. But the people they're passes like Caitlin used to have in college, where the person had to step on someone or they were moving across and she passed it into them. And I just haven't seen that opportunity with Indiana for her to do that. How many times did she really pass it? Other than a couple pick and rolls, has she ever really passed it into Aaliyah? Like a center?
One whole lot going on there. And Aaliyah only
there was not.
Aaliyah only had 6 field goal attempts on the day, so that will change.
She hasn't hardly shot at all during, I think, the preseason games either. She's just like non-existent almost.
Well,
I'd like to know what her and he was telling Caitlin when they left the floor at halftime.
Well, we appreciate your call, sir.
I think we'd all want to know that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I think we all want to know that.
Thank you for being part of the show, sir.
All right, thank you.
Yep. All right, calling from Florida. Appreciate that. Johnny, come lately. We'll find that. It's you, Kachine. All right. We're changing.
I don't know who that is either. Let me know when you find out.
Pat wants to know how you would coach this team.
Well, I'm a defensive mind first, so that changes a lot of things. So I definitely am starting there. I am definitely going to be doing a lot more ball screen action with some things out of that. If Caitlin comes off the ball screen, if she doesn't have the pick and roll, she is passing and immediately coming off of something else. I would have a lot of action in that. And then I don't know if I would definitely have the ball in Caitlin's hands a lot more. But I don't know enough about Erica Wheeler to make a firm decision on that just yet. But I definitely would have the ball in Caitlin's hands more, whether she has it coming up, or I would definitely have the ball in Caitlin's hands in transition, like 100%. Dead ball situations, I'm not 100% sure. I don't know much about Erica Wheeler to know like her game. I know her, but I don't know her game that in depth. But I would definitely start with that. I'll tell you that. And run the ball. We trying to score in 7 seconds. Let's start there.
Kachine, we got like 325 people. Louis reminds us, if you're here, hit that like button. I'm always inspired by Kachine Alexander and her marketing and promotion skills. Yes. Scroll down, hit the thumbs up. It does help the team. Gets the stream to more people, helps YouTube recommend the stream to more people. So, yes, please do that if you've not done so. Hit that like, folks. It does help. Blake wants to know
please.
about the Van Jensen hire. We talked about that yesterday, so we're not going to get into it. If you want to go back and discuss that or listen to that discussion, you're happy about it. I think to sum up what we talked about yesterday,
sure am.
Kachine, as am I. So, but we talk about that a lot yesterday's show. So appreciate the question. Blake, Hawkeye Howard, recovering from surgery, I believe. So, Hawkeye Howard, we're thinking of you. Thank you for checking
Feel better.
in. And William D., do you think former coach of Iowa will coach Indiana Fever?
No.
I think William's referring to Lisa Bluter. That was the trendy topic yesterday. And I think the short answer is no. Like you said, I will be shocked if somehow Lisa Bluter ever ends up coaching at any capacity in the WNBA. Michael says, I got a real conversation. Y'all won't answer the phone and some real points as a nut. Well, first of all, if you're a nut, maybe this is maybe this is not the right time, place, etc. Second of all, you have not called anybody. I've got the phone open. So let's hit our final callers of the day. We'll go to Tyler first. Tyler, welcome.
That's hilarious.
Well, how you doing?
Hi.
We're excellent. How are you, Tyler?
I'm doing very well. As always, I have a few questions. So we're talking a lot tonight, and I'm gathering from the comments from the different callers that we're kind of in an expectations game right now. A lot of people that I saw flash across the screen with comments want to fire the coach. There's some people pushing the panic button about Clark's performance. Being that this is my first year in watching the league because of Caitlin Clark, and being the fact that it was a month and a quarter ago we were playing the NCAA final, what is a reasonable expectation for me as a fan with a team like Indiana, say to start playing, I won't say at full strength, but gelling a little bit more? What's reasonable in your opinion? If you were coaching the team, Kachine, what would be a reasonable expectation you would tell me as a fan to have?
Middle to end of June. That's what I would tell you.
Is that usually how long it takes? I mean, granted, I'm watching the Vegas.
It depends on the team. And I think with what we have and being led really by rookies. I mean, I understand that Aaliyah's been in there a year. Smith has been in there 3 years. They're still rookies compared to the length of majority of the WNBA. They're really still rookies. I think that takes a little bit longer. Now, if this was a team and they had, let's just say you put Caitlin Clark on a Connecticut, that would be different because their veteran leadership and their best players have been in the league for years. You know what I mean? So it changes how they do things. So that's why I would say that. I hope it don't take that long. But I'm also a little bit realistic in the idea of it's about to be June 1st in like a week. We're right there as it is. And by that time, they would have had a couple games under their belt. But again, we don't know how quickly does Mitchell get back to her star form. She's behind the curve 2 weeks already. So they haven't played with her for 2 weeks. So if that makes, now you've got to try to gel with her as you were trying to already gel with the team. So it's a little, you know what? I'm about over this thing.
It's over.
Trying to make sure y'all see me in life and just dying on me.
While you're fixing that, Kachine, Raquel Travis, we didn't become Caitlin Clark fans because she shoots twos. We became Caitlin Clark fans because she shoots crazy threes.
That's true.
Go ahead, Kachine.
Yes.
That's true. But yeah, so I hope it doesn't take that long. I really don't. I really hope it happens a lot faster for the sake of the W and the sake of keeping people interested. But I'm also realistic.
Now, with what one of the questions I had was, what differences do you spot between like what the Iowa offense and the Indiana offense? It looks to me like when you have Nalissa Smith in her third year, when you have Aaliyah Boston in her second year. Yesterday, we were kind of talking about outside-in offensive approach versus an inside-out offensive approach. What do you see the Fever running? Is it more of that where they built more for posts and then Caitlin's got to work into that position, or is it about the same as what Bluter runs, or is what it's supposed to look like?
So usually the WNBA offense is different regardless. We're not just talking about offense. They use different terminology.
Sure.
That's something I learned. They use different terminology. They use different actions that you don't see sometimes in the not WNBA, in the college. I would say the biggest thing that you guys are seeing is the pace, which is weird to say because defensively, it's definitely a step above college, right? It's definitely a step above as far as what Caitlin is seeing. But offensively, they look slow. Like, ooh, come on. And it's crazy because I've watched their practice film and they don't look like that. So I don't know why it's not translating because I've seen them in practice. I've seen what they're trying to work on. They put clips out. They've done all of that. But where was that today? I didn't see it. They've got to push that envelope a lot more. They just have to. That would be the biggest difference for me that I see. Coach Bluter is always about running. She run.
I've wanted to ask
we
you
used to joke that if you make it past the first 45 minutes in practice at Iowa, you'd survive because the first 45 practice was up straight running. Like really? Every drill was up and down, run. So it's a little different.
I've actually wanted to ask you this question for a while. When you left Iowa and went to the WNBA for the time you were there, what was the biggest surprise to you? Was it the physicality? Was it the timing and the pace?
I was exhausted. Like, I don't even know how to. I thought I was in really good shape. Like, I played a lot of minutes at Iowa. Like, I thought I was in great shape. I was always guarding the best player. Like, I thought I was in great shape. And then I got to training camp, and it was a very rude awakening. I was exhausted. Like, I've never been so tired in my life. And I think it's, like I said, because they're stronger, they're bigger. And at the end of the day, even when you're playing defense, you're battling. Like, that takes energy. And then you got to go shoot from half court, damn near what she's doing. Like, I know she's tired. Like, I know she is. And I've said this a few times on here, but to me, it was I was exhausted. Like, and I don't know, I couldn't figure out why until I got older. Obviously, I tried to figure it out eventually, right? But I just remember being so tired. After every practice, I would sleep until the next day because I was so tired.
With that in mind, because one of the things that was mentioned earlier was the exhaustion that that Caitlin is no doubt feeling right now. I know that one of her ambitions is to play on the U.S. Olympic team. If you were giving her advice, would you say, you're young, you might want to skip it this year and just concentrate on the fever? I know she's not going to do it, but would you recommend it?
She's not.
Yeah. Would you recommend it, though?
Caitlin is going to know what her body feels like during the season. Because again, we're talking about literally 12 months of straight basketball, like competitive basketball at that. And then you're going to go play against more competitive basketball across the seas. Of course, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it doesn't come around often, every 4 years to be exact. And you never know what 4 years from now is going to look like. So she has to go if she's invited, but man, she better not do nothing after that for a while.
Yeah, she really
got to recover.
She needs like a cup of coffee and a nap, or like a margarita and a nap or something.
She needs something.
Yeah, one final question, and then I'll let you guys go. Because, it was a rough performance. Caitlin had a rough night with the turnovers, all the things mentioned before. In either one of your opinions, was there anything positive that we can take away as new Indiana Fever fans that can make us, be at least positive about Thursday and going beyond, besides that it's only one game? Did you see anything in there that's worth latching onto?
Thank you, Tyler. Appreciate the call. Good question.
So I would definitely say, if obviously a lot of everybody in here, majority of everybody in here, not everybody, are big Caitlin Clark fans. And as much as we are talking about her teammates, the adjustment, all of that things, with all of that being said, she still scored 20 points. Like, with all of that being said. And so just think about when Caitlin Clark gets comfortable. You know how, like Coach Prime said, just wait till I get comfortable? You know what I mean? Like, just wait until she gets comfortable. Just think about that for a minute. And that, we all know she's going to get comfortable. At some point, she's going to get comfortable. And when she does, that's going to be fun. But just, give her a little bit of grace at the end of the day. Give the whole team grace. Hey, like, give them all grace. And I would say that the whole W, like this, you've never watched the beginning of the season. It's always just like the beginning of college season. Terrible basketball. I don't care what anybody says. It's horrible because they have not played against anybody besides their team. So it's just not great basketball because they just haven't gotten to the swing of things. So I would say give the whole W grace, but I can't wait till Caitlin gets comfortable.
Question in the chat, Blake. I have not yet published a video on Jacob Gill. Yes, I know he committed to Iowa football. Wide receiver at Northwestern. We'll put something together tomorrow. So thank you for that. Amy, lack of rebounding from CC. That's the last thing I wanted to ask you about. Just 0 boards. This seems almost bizarre. Are you seeing something specifically with how she's playing, or maybe how she's being coached, that is going
She's
to lend
tired.
itself to fewer opportunities to rebound, or is it just fatigue?
I think it's fatigue. And it sounds crazy, but you got to be in shape to rebound.
Yep.
You have to. When you taking breaks because the shot went up, you're not rebounding. So I'm sure that 0 goose egg will be talked about in film, because she has to. She can't just sit out there and do nothing. They're too small for that. They're gonna get beat up in there if they do.
Okay. All right, James. We've got James on hold for maybe we got one caller, I believe, after that. Let's go to James. James, welcome.
First off, for the Ace fan, Cash over there, I think there's something she didn't know. And I don't think you know this either, Corey. You know Darius Stokes. You remember Darius Stokes played at Iowa, right?
Yes.
Yep.
His
His
plays-
daughter's on the team.
Yeah, his sister's on there.
Oh no, I mean the sorry, I thought you said Stokes as the dad, not
The brother.
brother.
Yeah, the brother
Sorry.
played at Iowa for the bit.
Yes, I
yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. Kia,
She went to UConn.
So, yeah, she's from Cedar Rapids, though, so it's cool to see
Mhm.
another Iowa girl in the league as well. And I think that's something that is another thing. Obviously, she didn't go to
Yeah, they
Iowa,
got.
but I still support her because she's from the state, so I still support her.
She's from Cedar Rapids. I'll take it.
A person from my state, obviously, I'm gonna still support her too. It's cool, but no, like you said, it's early in the year, and you can't hold nothing on the first game. New system, new everything. Caitlin will be perfectly fine. You just gotta live with it as it goes on, you know. And obviously, it's a bad game, but like somebody said in this thing, she also scored 20. Like, it's a bad game, but she scored 20. If you have a bad game and you score 20, that's scary what a good game's gonna look like, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
just
Well,
think about
Luka Doncic had an awful game last night, and he had a triple double. So
yeah. So it's like it's
Hear
all
what
just
I'm
about
saying?
that, and obviously the turnover part is like another thing you also gotta think about turnovers too. Is it could be a new system kind of too. Like she's not used to happening. The holes aren't all the way there. Like she's not gonna know where the holes are at yet because she's still trying to learn everything else. Like at Iowa, she kind of knew where the holes were gonna be because she knew where her teammates were gonna be.
It's a lot of thinking.
And especially in that 5 seconds or that whatever seconds she wants it to be in, you got to
0.5.
make the decision quicker. You make the decision
Mhm.
quicker, and it might be something you kind of got to adjust. The coach might have to kind of adjust as it goes on, but obviously she's never coached a player like Caitlin Clark either, so it's a learning
Right.
experience for everybody. It's not just a learning experience for her trying to adjust. The coach also has to adjust to Caitlin too, in the same way. You
Mm-hmm.
don't understand because you never coached somebody like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but what's your plan, Carl? Are you gonna watch like every game, Corey? I mean, you're not gonna do a post game after, but you're gonna watch as many games as you can, or
we'll watch as many games as I can.
Yeah.
We'll see what that
Big
means.
games, I'm definitely like I can't, like I said, it's gonna be must-see TV when they play Phoenix. It's gonna be must-see TV when they play New York Liberty. There's gonna
Chicago
be the
probably
Aces.
too with
of course.
Chicago too probably with
Chicago with
Angel Reese
Angel.
and
Mm-hmm.
Camellia. So
So it's there's some really great teams matchups and stuff to look forward to for sure. I mean, there are a couple other teams as well, but still, there's definitely some big games that are starred on my list.
also one more stat I seen too. She was only the third player ever in WNBA history to have 20 points and hit 4 threes in their rookie year, like the first game
Oh, I did
as
see
a
that.
rookie. Maya Moore and some other, I don't know who the other chick was, but Maya Moore was the other one, and obviously Maya Moore went on to have a great career. So
Yep.
go lead to good things, go lead to bad. I just wanted to get on and say, everybody leave a like on the show. Corey works hard and he does a lot for us, and obviously having Cash just this year's been fun as well. Just to have somebody who kind of has the knowledge for the game and who played in the WNBA, and at least you played for. Was it cool for you to play for? I know this is about Caitlin, but was it cool? Was it really bittersweet for you to play for Minnesota since you were from Minneapolis?
I did not want to do that, but
You
it is
didn't
what
want
it
to?
is. No,
I
I
understand.
wanted to branch out a little bit, like go
Yeah.
somewhere else.
I know
But
some
that
people
was just my
like playing in their
mindset.
hometown though. That's why I didn't know maybe for you if it was
Yeah.
somewhere.
That's
it
why
was
I didn't
like
go to Minnesota.
bittersweet.
So
Yeah, I know, but
so yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. You don't get to choose. So
yeah, probably it's easy for a family though, and I guess that's probably a benefit too. The
yeah,
whole, like,
there's that. There is
for
that.
sure. But all right, enjoy you guys tonight, and go Hawks always, and wish all them luck. Obviously, Caitlin hasn't played, and by the way, Megan hit a 3, so she has 5 points now.
Okay.
Come on, Megan.
Thank you, James.
So yep, enjoy.
She's getting better by the year. I didn't think it was possible, but she's definitely changing her game to a more pro level.
For people that don't know, you were drafted 26th overall in the WNBA draft,
Good times.
2011.
Good times.
And let's see here.
Good times.
Were they
I
good
love it.
times?
It's good. Of course, they're great memories. It's their great memories. But like, you know, at the end of the day, when your rookie contract is like $40,000, you're not really too excited to do it. So, you know, now it's better, right? And it's continuing to get better. And now you got endorsements and other things to cover that up. But look at WNBA got Skims now. Like, there's just so many things now, and it's just exciting for them. But yeah, I'm just very happy. It's off subject. Well, not really off subject, but Megan Gustafson, I'm enjoying watching her, man. I really am. Like, she's really changed her game to pro level. Like,
her game has
that's
evolved,
dope.
doesn't she?
It has, and you thinking from college, you didn't think it really needed to, right? But then she got cut. Instead of whining or complaining, she went to work, and she figured out exactly what she needed to add to become pro level, and she is
right. But then,
all right, caller. Is that what I heard?
Let's go to our caller. Thank you for calling our post-game coverage with Kachine Alexander, who's on the line.
Hello?
Hello, you're on.
Hi.
Hi, this is Annie from New York. How you doing?
Hey, Annie. How are you?
Okay. I agree with Kachine on many levels. First of all, I think the season doesn't congeal with the college too close together. That's a very good point. And I think what I was disappointed in was I didn't see a lot of picks and like just basic offense. You know what I mean? Because Caitlin really shoots well off picks, pick and roll. There wasn't any cohesiveness with that. I was a little disappointed in that. And didn't look like they could get it going. But even though, like you said, she scored 20 points, so you could just imagine, you know, when they start getting it together, I'm looking forward to some more progress. And another point that you made was the Sophie Cunningham. I looked at some YouTube because I had no idea.
You looked it up?
Beyond aggressive. She's beyond aggressive. That's all I'm going to say. I had no idea.
I'm trying to tell you.
Because
it's going to be interesting.
Team right away, I kind of thought of Chicago because, you know, we all know why. But
yeah,
when I looked at some video, because you just brought that up, wow, I wasn't expecting to see that. So
let's just hope that Natasha Cloud is guarding Caitlin or something.
Yeah, that was just beyond belief. Anyway, something about Coach Bluta really quick, because I do respect that Coach Bluta didn't announce that she was retiring until after the season, after all the playoffs, and she really didn't want to take any of the focus off her team. It looked like she really put the team ahead of herself, you know, and I just thought that was a really classy thing to do. And she's a class act through and through. Yeah, she waited till everything was over and all the smoke cleared, and she announced it really humbly, and she didn't want to take any attention off the team. And I just thought her timing with that was really classy. I just wanted to mention that. But yeah, you made some great points, Kachine. Definitely. I think she's a little tight. I think they cut it too close to the season. And I just, you know, I'm sure she'll come around because Caitlin is Caitlin. And I think it'll all fall into place for her. But you guys take good care. I don't want to keep you.
Thanks,
looking forward to the show. You
Absolutely.
guys take care.
Thank you for being here. Appreciate it.
Bye.
All right. Super chat from
that
Tyler.
comment is hilarious.
You like that one?
That comment was funny.
Tyler, he says, thank you for answering my questions again. Great informative show as always.
Anytime, Tyler.
So you think this is a funny comment?
Nah, it was the one where it said there's a reason they had the number 1 pick 2 years in a row. That is hilarious.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Because that does not happen often. Right. And he got a point.
Right. All right. I want to make sure, because I think we've still got, I want to make sure Corey doesn't have anything add here at the end. Corey, did you have something else you wanted to add, throw in the mix? You logged back on here, so I just want to make sure
I love you for letting me back on here.
Well, I'm going to put a time limit on it because I'm about to fall asleep, but
Okay.
you have the floor for the
Mercury cut this to 83.80, but the Aces just went back up 85.80. But as much as I want to hate DT, I do have some respect for her game.
You ain't got no choice.
And let me say this. Erica Wheeler, if you can hear me, I love you. You are the glue. And Caitlin Clark, just as Michael Jordan needed Pippen, without Pippen, Michael Jordan is nothing. Without Kate Martin, Caitlin Clark would not have been Caitlin Clark. I truly believe. Kachine, who is going to be that Kate Martin teammate for Caitlin Clark?
The jury's still out, honestly. Like, I get that Erica Wheeler is more of like her protector in the sense of like, nah, you're not getting to her, or, you know, she's going to be the first one in a scuffle if something happened kind of thing, or, you know, media or something like that. Absolutely, she's going to be the cutoff. As far as on the court, the jury's still out. I have no idea. We're going to have to see.
You know, it felt like when Caitlin wasn't feeling it on a certain play, she'd give the ball up to Kate Martin and Kate would make it happen. And, you know, is that going to be Miss Mitchell? Is it going to be Erica Wheeler?
It probably will be Mitchell. It probably will be Mitchell, because Mitchell can create on her own a lot. And so I think that's probably going to be your 1-2 punch. We just got to get her healthy.
And they have zero chemistry because they haven't played together. Has she even practiced? I don't think
she's not practiced. She practiced by herself. I want to say her first practice was maybe 2 or 3 days ago, where she was able to run and actually like play. She wasn't even really supposed to play in this game, but they put her in there. So no, not really.
So you look at the way they were defended tonight. You get a double on that point guard, and Erica Wheeler is a little bit shorter, and they get those two bigger defenders on her, and she's trying to just get rid of it and throw it over the top of them. And I just picture, you know, who is going to be that Pippen for Jordan, that Kate Martin for Caitlin Clark, and wanted to bounce that one off of you. Last thing, two points. Antonio, whoever you are, dude.
You probably sleep.
I'm
you have 18 seconds.
Kachine and I want to buy your first beer, your first drink. Let's have drinks. Antonio,
maybe he's still here.
He just sounds like a fantastic fan, and he's so hopeful, and I love that. And
I agree.
And lastly,
your alarm is going off, Corey. The time ran out.
and lastly, Lemansky, where are you?
Where he been? Yeah. Thank you.
He made a badminton comment. I don't know what he was talking about, but Lemansky referred to something about what's going on with badminton. And
I did see that early though. But I miss Lemansky. Where he at?
Lemansky, I challenge you to show your face. Get on this show.
Ooh.
Delay of game.
See you later.
Thank you for being here, sir.
Love you guys.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yo, Lonnie, not shot clock violation. That's crazy.
All All right, folks. The Connecticut Sun defeating the Indiana Fever in the season opener 92-71. Caitlin Clark, 20 points, 5 of 15 from the field, 4 of 11 from 3, perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line. She struggled, though, with her assists and turnovers. 3 assists, 10 turnovers, 0 rebounds. Maybe some fatigue catching up to her, but she better get geared up because this is just getting started. Kachine, thank you for being here. It's a pleasure being able to do kind of an odd, I've never done a show like this, a non-Hawkeye related post-game show, so it's been fun. And who knows, maybe we'll be back for another show at some point. And yes, Todd, thank you for reminding everybody. Please hit that thumbs up.
Not if y'all don't give us a thumbs up. We ain't coming back.
That's right. Better get those numbers up. What do you think we're at as far as likes right now? Kachine, you want to take a stab at that?
I don't even know how many people are on here today, so I couldn't even tell you.
Well, you're not going to lie.
Well, we got like 8. Okay, let me give like 118.
I hope it's more than that. Let's see here. We are at 164. 164.
Oh.
So we've got to get that number. If you want another show at some point here in the off season, let's encourage everybody to get that number above 250. That's very doable. We had over 500 people watching earlier.
Please.
Just hit that thumbs up button. And Kachine, it's been a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll talk more Hawkeye hoops and maybe even some Fever hoops down the line.
And WNBA hoops.
WNBA hoops. I'm all for it.
I'm talking about everybody. I'm actually sad I didn't get to watch this Aces Mercury game because that looked like a really good game.
Well, if people are wondering, Kate Martin did not play. So
she wasn't going to, not in a tight game.
So will she play
the
average? Will she play at all unless there's a blowout or garbage time?
Not early, no. I don't think so.
Okay.
Because they right now, it's for the Aces. We're not talking about nobody else, okay? For the Aces, they need to build up their record. And get themselves in a comfortable place because everybody's gunning for them. We know that, duh. So they need to get themselves in a comfortable place, and then they'll fit in Kate and Deasia Fair where they can. But I think they'll get minutes this season. How much? That's still out for interpretation.
Folks, if you're interested in sponsoring the channel, the email is on the bottom ticker. From the eye of the storm at outlook.com. That's from the eye of the storm at outlook.com. Thank you all for being here. It's been a pleasure. We'll be back at some point. Not sure when, but we'll be here at some point. For Kachine Alexander, I'm Corey Brada from the Hawkeye of the Storm. Have a great night. Enjoy some NBA playoffs and some WNBA regular season.